Alright, you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, for all of you who do not know. Shout out to you guys for being here. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So today's topic, am I an advocate for interracial relationships and marriages? So stay tuned. Am I an advocate for interracial relationships and marriages? The answer is absolutely not. Okay, so I don't know. Lately, I've just been finding myself having to explain things to people over and over again, because in regards to my marriage, now if you are new here, I have been in a marriage, an interracial marriage, for 9 years, going on 10 years this year. And one thing that I realized about marriage, period, is that when you're married to someone, a man, and you're a woman, you're going to have disagreements no matter the skin color. Okay? When you're a man and you're married to a woman, no matter the skin color, if you're married to a human being, you're going to have disagreements and issues. Same thing. So I posted a short, and I was explaining how some people, not all of them, some people in my family had issue with the fact that I was marrying someone white. And I got a lot of comments and backlash about that. And how are you going to tell me that what I said was wrong? You know what I mean? They telling me that my family didn't really feel that way. They were telling me that it was bigger than that. And you know what? It is bigger than that. And considering that I'm a Christian, and considering that God gave us 2 commandments, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with loving my neighbor as myself. Because guess what? A lot of people, Christians, being that this is a Christian-based channel, Christians have a big issue with skin color. And I said what I said. So while people are looking at color, I don't ever want to get to heaven's gates and, standing before Christ when it's my time to go, and I don't make it in because I didn't treat people right, or I didn't look at people and love people like I love myself. So yes, I'm a black woman, but I'm loving every color, everybody, the way that I love myself. And that was something I had to learn. I had to learn to love myself. So because I am so up close with white people, I love them wholeheartedly, flaws and all, because it is flaws. It's flaws there. It's flaws with my family. It's flaws with my husband's family. But at the end of the day, I learned to put those things to the side. And I don't say, oh, it's because you white, or oh, it's because you black, or nothing. That at the end of the day, love is all that matters. God gave us 2 commandments: to love him and to love our neighbors as ourselves. That'll eliminate everything. So again, I am not an advocate for anything other than love. So I found myself again having to explain how I'm married to a white guy. And my thing is, it was never my preference to be like, oh, I only date white guys. That was never my preference. My preference was, I want to be treated right. I want to be loved properly. So I experienced my husband pursuing me. He pursued me down to the ground. You hear me? There was never a question if he liked me. There was never a question if he wanted to be around me. There was never a question if he liked my company. He made it known. He made himself very available, and letting me know that I was adored, that I was cherished. He let me know that he loves me immediately. And so that is what love is. I had dealt with situations where I was getting ghosted. I dealt with situations where I was very unsure, you catch feelings for somebody and, it's on the rocks and they playing game. Bro, I had dealt with all of that. So when my husband came along and he pursued me down to the ground, guess what? I fell. And I fell right into a marriage. Yes, I did. And, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. And ever since then, again, my husband has been nothing but a complete gentleman to me. a gentleman, okay? And he's never went upside my head, never done any of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people have this misconstrued. So again, I'm not an advocate for anything. If anybody's going to be in your life, then they need to be pursuing you for you, loving you for you, all of you. My flaws and all, my husband loves. His flaws and all, I had to learn to love, okay? And not only love, but help him to get through those things. And he helps me to get through those things. So when we're talking about love, that's what love is. Love is what love does. And if you have people in your life and they're not trying to love you down to the point where, you know, you're better, then that's not love. So everyone has a preference. Everyone has a preference. You know, some people, you know, their preference is only this type of guy or only this type of woman, or you have to have this length of hair, or you have to look like this, you have to be this height, yada, yada, yada. But one thing that I realized, again, is that I've said this on the channel, a lot of people's preferences are causing them to be alone. Your preference may not look like God's will for your life. Your preference may keep you held up from what God has for you. And until you get that my preference, my will sort of spirit out of you, then you're going to continue to end up with your will and your preference, which has never worked for you. That's why you're single. Your preference has never worked for you. So you need to start praying God's will for your life. When I was single, I was a single woman. My friend was just here. She was around. And she said, you spoke that. She said, Shay, you spoke your marriage into your life. And then she also began to say how I never was just like, oh, marriage. I was doing me. You hear me? I was doing me, and marriage found me. Why? Because I knew that I wanted God's will for my life. And I have that. So now that I've been married, my husband and I are breaking down racial barriers in our family. We're breaking generational curses in our family. Look, some stuff that, you know, we had to struggle with and battle with, our children never will have to battle with, because we've broken those curses off of their lives. God does not look at the outer appearance. Humans do that. God is looking at hearts. So when God looks down on our marriage, he's looking at our hearts towards one another. He don't see old black Jew. No. God's saying, how you treating him? Are you submitted? That's another video I'm going to do. Submission. Because a lot of people have that misconstrued. It ain't as hard as you think. When a man is doing what he's supposed to be doing, a woman's job, like, it's just in us. We just going to follow because we're just like, oh, you a man. Oh, you for real, a man. And when you got a real man, it's so easy. It's second nature. Like, you're going to just follow. So I'm going to talk to the women real quick, right? Because a lot of women, they be like, oh, you know, my husband hasn't found me yet. I'm still single, yada, yada. And I'm going to talk to women because men, y'all have the choice to choose your spouse. It says that a man finds the wife. So women have the issue of, why hasn't my husband found me yet? Well, when you're going through your Rolodex of preferences, how you know God didn't send you your husband, or your husband wasn't sent to find you, but because you're going through your Rolodex of he has to be this length, this height, this, you know, this width, big shoulders, big, you know what I mean? Like, you going through your list and God's like, did you want a husband from my will or not? But your Rolodex says you want him this, he got to be this color, this. And God's like, daughter, you're blowing it. You're missing it. Because one thing that I realize is that, again, marriage is ministry. Marriage is not, oh, just for your own satisfaction. Like, no, God has to get his glory out of your marriage at some point. That's what it's there for him to be in the middle. And he gets glory out of marriages. So don't get it misconstrued. Listen, God could have sent you 3-4 men. And because he didn't fit your Rolodex and he didn't fit your description, you missed out on your blessing. So I want you to think back real hard. Did God send you your spouse? Did he send your spouse to come find you? And you was just too caught up in you. This is the last thing that I'm going to touch on. When I was reading the comments, a lot of people, when I was expressing, you know, interracial marriage and that, you know, my family had an issue with it, a lot of people were saying, don't do this to your children. And I couldn't understand, like, first of all, they didn't even understand that I have 3 children from my marriage, okay? The Bible says be fruitful and multiply. We did that, okay? I have 3 children. My children are so well-rounded emotionally, spiritually. My babies pray. So they're like, oh, don't do this to your children. But what is it to be done? Like, I don't understand what y'all talking about. At the end of the day, what? Because they're not fully black or fully white? How do you know that you're fully black or that you're fully white? Because I'll tell you this, generations have passed. And at some point, either black dominated over the white that was in your family, or white dominated over the black that was in your family. But at the end of the day, if you were in America during slavery, you're mixed somewhere. And that's facts. So it's like, again, when we're talking about being Christians, you have to stop looking at color because you don't know where you really came from. When we're talking about, oh, don't do that to your children, y'all better look around. There are more mixed people than ever before. You want to talk about, oh, they mixed up in slavery. No, right now in this moment, there are more mixed people, more mixed children than ever before. Okay? And black people, the pro-black people, they offended by that. The pro-white people, they're offended by that. But guess what? God said, it is what it is. Y'all gonna love one way or another. I'm gonna end racism one way or another. Because somebody got white in their family. Somebody has black in their family. This is not the 1930s, okay, where it's just black and white. No, now you have a race of mixed people growing up. It's not like it used to. Oh, I'm the only mixed person in my school. Like, no, my children go to a school. And I tell you, it's more mixed children at my kids' school than there is white, than there is black, than there is Chinese, because there's a lot of Chinese people out here. There are more mixed children in the school district my children are in than any other race. So guess what? Don't do it to your children. Don't have that mentality with your children. Don't tell me about mine. Mines are good. Mines are emotionally stable. They come from a solid foundation. And we're building on this. So I hope that something was done or said to help you today, to bless you, to make you think, oh my gosh, did my husband come find me and I blew it? Well, I can guarantee you, somebody that's going to watch this, somebody was sent to your life to come find you and you blew it because of you. Your own selfish ambitions, your own selfishness, and your own preferences, and all this crazy stuff that social media got y'all thinking. No, you better have God's will for your life and his will only. So I love you guys. God bless. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can email me at speakhervoice2, TOO, @gmail.com. I love y'all. God bless.